Hi there, this is Julia from the Motivation Club, and welcome to the recorded presentation of 3 secrets behind creating the future you desire. This is the original ultimate goal setting for success with more added into it, just in case you're wondering. So let's get into it, shall we? All right. This is a layout for what we're going to go through today. So we've got our 3 secrets, which are goals are about truly experiencing life. Secret 2 is everyone has fears, everyone has confidence. The only remedy to fear is action. And secret number 3 is if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now we have a key principle in each one of those, and I will explain them as we go and explain how they fit into that secret. All right. Secret number 1, goals are about truly experiencing life. A lot of us have goals that have us aspiring to achieve something. And I came across Mindvalley. I got referred actually during my ultimate goal setting for success by this lovely woman called Maria, who I was working with. And she's put me onto Mindvalley, and Vinesh in I think that's his name in Mindvalley explains that there's 2 different goals that you can achieve in life, and one is a means goal and one is an end goal. And a means goal is something that society says that we need to have in place in order to be able to achieve happiness. So that's like, the university degree, to be able to achieve a high paying corporate job and therefore buy a fancy car and a house and all the rest that comes with it. An end goal is actually the result of being, on the other hand, is the result of being human. And it is, an end goal is like, that powerful feeling you get from having a high paying corporate job, that sense of importance. And it's other things like experiencing love or exploring the world. It's all of those things that make you truly happy within an instant, which trigger the state of happiness within you. To be able to find out what your end goals are, Vinesh came up with the 3 most important questions, which are: what do you want to experience? How do you want to grow? And what do you want to contribute to the world? These are the 3 most important questions as per Mindvalley. Sharon Pearson, who is the owner and founder of the Coaching Institute, which is the oldest coaching school in Australia and the most prestigious, she says that there are 2 goals also. You have goals to have and goals to be. So going back to our means goals and end goals, goals that you want to have and to attain something are means goals in this instance. And those end goals is what you are at the end of it. It's the be, who you want to be. She believes that there are 2. There's something to have and something to be, which fits in quite nicely here, because it's usually the have or the means of something that doesn't make you happy. It's that end state or the person that you become that makes you happy. So we've got our 3 most important questions. And so what I do with these questions is I fill them out in terms of my whole entire life. And going from the top right, we've got our life separated into 8 different sections of the pie. So there's family and our intimate partner. You have your spiritual section. You have health and fitness, social and friendship, education, career and business, finance. And then the last one is hobbies, interests, recreational, fun time and adventure. So that's how you split up your life. Now, when you set goals for yourself, I tend to do it this way. I ask these questions: what do I want to experience? How do I want to grow? And how do I want to contribute to the world? What do I want to contribute to the world in terms of these different sections of my life? When it comes to, let's say, career and business, what do I want to experience? I want to, and this is important. Experience about how you want to feel. I want to feel as though I've given back to the world, and that I've given the world a legacy to live by, and a new way of thinking, because I've supported that. That's what I want to experience. How do I want to grow in terms of business and career? I want to grow so that I can take on more responsibility. I want to be able to take on more challenges and feel comfortable with that, and happy to do so. What do I want to contribute to the world? I want to contribute, a presence, a strong presence that encourages others to pursue their own dreams, and for them to answer their 3 most important questions and to fulfill those goals. So if we're looking at these 3 questions in terms of business and career for myself, that's how I would answer them. But I answer them in more depth, obviously, and I look at all different areas of my life. Vanessa does this great video that I will find the link to, and I'll put it below in the YouTube feed. And he asks these 3 questions in his clip, but he gives you only 90 seconds to answer each one of these. And the reason being is that when you don't have a time limit, you think about things, you rationalize, you flip over to the left side and logical side of your brain, and you're very thorough and you think things through. The point of adding a timer is to shut off the left side of your brain, because it can't function with a timer. It freaks out almost. So it relies on the creative side of your brain, the right side of your brain, then to act impulsively and answer impulsively. So when you've given yourself 90 seconds, what do you want to experience? You're not thinking, you're just powering out some answers that are true to you. You haven't had to think about them. You haven't had to apply a filter of social idealisms or what other people would think. You just answer. So when you have some time after this, answer these 3 questions. What do you want to experience? How do you want to grow? What do you want to contribute to the world? And give yourself a timer for each. If you want to go to the step beyond, answer them in terms of your wheel of life. So family and intimate partner, spiritual beliefs, or spiritual aspects of your life, the health and fitness, social and friendship, education, career and business, finance, and then your free time, your fun time, your adventure time, all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to achieving all of these goals that you have, we have this coaching principle called boundary conditions of our thinking. And I will explain it to you with a diagram here. So that's us inside our comfort zone there. So within this comfort zone, we know how to achieve what we are achieving now. When we have a goal outside of our comfort zone and outside of the boundaries of our thinking, which are here, I've got 2 goals. They seem really distant, really unrealistic, and really unachievable because we can't comprehend them yet. Expanding our boundaries is about exploring the options available to us in our everyday life and in the world that help us to achieve things. It's expanding our awareness. It's becoming more open-minded to looking at new opportunities and challenges and strategies to be able to achieve things, and therefore push outwards this boundary of how we think to be able to encompass our goals. Now, this is something that we have to do on a daily basis, because if we stay stagnant and we never expand the way that we think, and we never look for more information to expand and to learn new things, then our goals will always be unattainable to us. You can see there that they're outside of the way that we think. They're outside of our comfort zone, familiarity zone, whatever you want to call it. They're completely outside of our boundary of understanding. We need to expand our awareness, expand our thinking, and therefore expand our boundary to encompass these goals, and then therefore achieve them. This could be as simple as learning a new skill to be able to achieve something. It might be a little more difficult. It might take more training or more expertise, reading a book, reading 12 books, whatever it takes. But whatever helps your thinking to grow also helps you to achieve goals that are bigger and beyond anything that you could have imagined. The key is to learn constantly and teach yourself how to achieve things through different ways of thinking. Our secret number 2 for tonight is everyone has fears, everyone has confidence. And this is a truth. Every single one of us has a fear of something. They can be on large scale. People have phobias, scared of heights. People suffer from post-traumatic stress. These are all fears. But at the same time, everyone has confidence. Confidence and fear, they're merely states. Confidence is a state. If I asked you right now to feel happy, you'd recall all of the times that you felt happy or that made you smile or laugh, and you'd bring them up to surface, to the conscious level, and then you would begin to feel happy because of it. Confidence is the same thing. Confidence is a state. If I asked you to feel confident right now and pretend to be a confident person, you would start by adopting the posture of one, and then you'd have all these like memories come through your head of times when you felt confident or you were confident, acted in a confident way, and then you would adopt the state of a confident person. So it's very, very interesting how easy it is to tap into these states. So further from that, the only remedy to fear is action. Look, fears, as I said, both rational and irrational. We have them just to keep us safe. It is our ego's job to keep us safe. So it will constantly bring up the things that we are scared of. That's that little voice in our heads that will constantly bring up all the different things that could go wrong, all the things that could be scared of, or to stop us from doing it so we don't have to risk getting hurt. Lucky for us, this isn't caveman times. We're not going to get eaten by a dinosaur. But that doesn't mean that these fears are completely irrational. They're our own. They're true to us. They scare us. Therefore, they are fears. So also another issue when it comes to fear is that we judge our present moments based on the eyes of the past. So how this works is we've established fears throughout our lives based on the experiences that we have had throughout our lives. But when we come to face goals in today's day and age and this present moment, we're only making decisions based on what we've been through in the past, and the past is filled with, either memories of fear or, certainties of why you shouldn't do things. So you need to be very, very careful when judging present challenges. Is it linked to something that you've done before? Is your answer linked to a fear from the past? Then reassess it. Reassess what's going on here and your goal, and then keep going. Another concept that comes with fear is secondary gain. So secondary gain is something that we use in the coach as a concept we use in the coaching world very, very regularly. It's to describe a payoff or a benefit that you either consciously or unconsciously get from either doing something or continuing not to do something. Secondary gain leads to self-sabotaging behavior, but the whole purpose of it is to keep us safe again. So for all of us that have had a job and wanted to get a raise or be promoted, a lot of us will self-sabotage because we're fearful of the responsibility that will be put upon us to perform. A lot of us freak out because of that. A lot of us don't. But that's what secondary gain is. It's that payoff to keep you safe. And it comes in the most outrageous of forms. Why people stay in abusive relationships. There is a self-sabotaging behavior there. There is a secondary gain for them to stay in that. Why do people not do essays and flake out from finishing school? There is a secondary gain. The secondary gain is not having to face up to the serious issue of responsibility and taking control for the direction of your life. So to be able to overcome fear and secondary gain, this is my strategy, and this is something that I use on a regular basis. As soon as I become aware of fear or secondary gain in my life, that's the first step. Awareness is the key. If you are not aware of it, you cannot change it. Become aware of it. Become aware of when it happens, how often it happens, what circumstances they are under. Find out, become aware of all the ins and outs of the triggers, the operations, all of these things that you're doing. Then you need to bring yourself from, okay, that's what I'm doing. Now, why am I trying to achieve this goal? You need to have a compelling reason why you're trying to achieve a goal. Otherwise, there is no drive. There's no end to it. This is where you encompass your end goal. This is where you put in because I will feel great, because I will never have to pay off a debt again in my life. I will feel at ease because everything is in its place. I will feel this. I will feel that. I will feel whatever it is, insert here. And therefore, whatever else, like I will feel great. And the purpose of this, having a why, is it takes you back to the purpose for you achieving this goal. A lot of people go into business, to make money, and money is not enough of a compelling reason why. And it's really funny because apparently money makes the world go round, but it's not what drives us. Our reason why is so that we can spend more time with our children, so that we can spend time traveling the world and seeing places that we've never seen before. These are our whys. It never has anything to do with the money. Or in weight loss, it never has anything to do with the weight. It has everything to do with how you feel because of it. So you need to have that in mind. Why are you doing this? So after you're aware of what your fears or your secondary gain that are stopping you from achieving something, become aware of it and how it's all happening, then refer back to your reason. Why are you doing this? Why are you venturing down this path of this journey of this goal in the first place? And then once you've realized that and you've come back to it and you've tapped into that resourceful energy again, you need to embrace uncertainty and take action. The law of momentum is so important in achieving your goals. The smallest step can take you so far. Momentum is key. So embracing the uncertainty and taking action in the smallest form will allow you to continue taking action inevitably. Like a small step, like when they stepped on the moon, what did they say? One small step for humankind, one small step for man, one giant leap for humankind. The smallest step can create the biggest snowball effect. So never underestimate any action that you take. Just take it. So the key principle for this one is that what we focus on is what we get. And this is important because it's the law of attraction. And a lot of people go on about the law of attraction. I don't know what the secret, but it's so much more than just wishing and hoping for something and it just turns up. When I'm going to explain it like this. So pretend you're in a warehouse and it's pitch black, but you have a torch. You turn your torch on. What you see is what you're focusing on. This is your focus, is what you can see. You can't see anything else. There's no other potential reality. It's only your reality, which is what you see with that torch. The torch is your filter. Let's take it even a step further, and let's say the torch is your filter for reality. Now, your actual filter for reality is in your brain. It's your reticular Reticular articulating system. It is a mouthful. I always say this. So your reticular articulating system is based whereabouts your brain stem connects to your brain, and it is a filter for everything that you interact with in life. And I'm talking about everything you smell, taste, hear, see, and feel in any one given moment, any one given millisecond. It, like this RIS takes in trillions of bits of pieces of information a second, and it only filters in what you are focused on. So it will only bring into the spotlight of this torch what you choose to see. All of those heaps of people in the world that believe that money is evil, and they will only ever see the people that have achieved financial wealth and financial status from doing nasty things and bad things, and that holds them stagnant in life. Another reality someone could live is they believe that money is really, really easy to make and that you don't have to work hard for it. That's their reality. Complete shift. But in their reality, they have a circle of friends that earn an honest living and a good honest living from doing something that they love. See how the reality and what you tap into creates a whole new visual for you. So this is a really, really important concept to understand, really important principle, that you create your own reality. You focus on your own reality. So what you see in this world is because you want to see it. A biggest key to creating your own reality the way you want it is through your language. The way that you describe the world is the way that you're going to see the world. If you're telling yourself that your relationship is on the rocks, it's going to be on the rocks. If you're telling yourself that this relationship is going really, really well, if you use different words to describe it, that's what it's going to be. Your language is the key to everything. So when you're talking about in this concept of talking about your reality and what you focus on and what you get, look at your language and how you're saying things, what you're saying to create this reality that you're focusing on. Change the words and create a different focus. Which brings me to secret number 3. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So important. So important. When you're going out to achieve a goal, you need to write it down. And I can't express the importance of writing down a goal enough. After you've written down a goal, you are 40% more likely to achieve that goal than someone that did not write it down. 40% is huge. That's a huge amount. So this is how you write down your goal then. And then there is absolutely no excuse for you to jump off this call and not write down your goal now. So it has in the SMART format, and I love it because this is just a really easy format to remember. You got S for simple, which is you write it in a simple and focused way that isn't too wordy and doesn't get too complicated, but gets straight to the point. It's specific. M stands for measurable. So this is important because how will you know when your goal has been achieved? What do you have to measure it up against? How do you mark in milestones if you don't know what you're trying to achieve on a measurable level? And also being able to realize what's the difference once it's accomplished? What's the feelings associated with it? And then A, all over the internet you'll see actionable. I like to do attractive because actionable, if it's not realistic, it's not going to be actionable. So I like to mix it up a bit and put attractive into it, because attractive, you have to make sure that your goal is attractive to you and only you. It means it needs to be appealing in both the short term, the long term. It needs to be appealing in the way that it's written and tap into, if you're a visual person, see what's going on in this goal. If you're an auditory digital, make sense of what's going on in this goal. I add those aspects of it. Like I see the book that I've written and it feels amazing within me to have achieved such a feat in my life. Then R is realistic. It needs to be achievable. You need to look at it and be like, okay, I'm 40 years old. I'm never going to be an astronaut, or I'm, you know, I've never run a mile in my life and I'm training up for a 10K marathon in 2 weeks. Also completely unrealistic. And these things are going to be happening, but I'm 40 years old and I want to go into space. Well, there are options for that now. Let's be realistic about it. How do you get into space? How do you work alongside an astronaut in after 40 years of age? There are ways. Figure it out. Expand the boundary of your thinking and figure it out. Unrealistic, I want to run a 10K marathon in 2 weeks. I've never run before in my life. Well, how about in 2 weeks? Let's be able to run 2Ks nonstop. That's a realistic one. And those are things that like, I think people, I've had a lot of people get confused with this one when it comes to realistic, and they've questioned whether that they should push themselves or not. Goals are about pushing yourselves, but if you have a completely unrealistic goal that you're not going to achieve, you're putting undue stress on yourself and you're turning yourself off. You're doing the complete opposite. If the goal is too big and you're actually never going to achieve it, unconsciously you believe that. And therefore, you're going to self-sabotage so you don't have to face it. And you might get even a case of the perfectionisms, and you might organize everything so everything's perfect. Everything has to be perfect, but never actually do anything because you realize the goal is unrealistic. You're never going to achieve it. And that's your secondary gain, is not having to face that failure of doing so. So that's realistic for you. And then T is for timed. When's it going to be achieved? If it has no end date, there it is not a goal. If you cannot set milestones, it can't be a goal, because then you will always have this lifelong goal of losing weight or achieving wealth, and unless you have something to say, this is when I'm going to do it, or this is when I'm going to achieve it, you're never actually going to achieve it, because it'll always be a work in progress. Once you've written down your goal, and remember that you're 40% more likely to achieve that if you write it down using the SMART format, you need to break that goal down into manageable steps. You need to create milestones, and using the measure and the time that you've recorded in your goal, create a plan around those. Create steps, create priorities, create tasks. They're extremely, extremely important, because how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You're never going to lose 10 kilos in one hit. It's a slow progress. You're never going to achieve $1 million in your first year. It is a slow progress. There are those off kind of, it's amazing. It's a miracle I did it. There are very, very few of them. It's a lot of work that goes into achieving a multi-million-dollar business or losing a tremendous amount of weight, but you have it in you. And I find scheduling reminders to keep me on track a really, really important one. So when it comes to planning out my goal, I have it written. I have all of my goals written. You can have up to 15 goals at any one given time, but I have about 6 or 7. And they range all the different areas of my life. There's the 8 different sections of my life. I have 6 or 7 goals. A couple of them span a few different areas. And all up, I'd like to say that all of my goals are spiritual goals, because they help me to grow as a human being. They're not specifically based on the growth of my spirituality, but they all add to it, if that makes sense. So I set all my goals for all the different aspects of my life, and then I have a big wall year calendar, and I write in all the main dates that I need. So events or milestones that I want to achieve, if it was like weight or or financial, anything that you can track. And then from there, I go month by month. What do I want to achieve in each one of the months, and sort of plan out the months as best I can, with no vision. Like, I have a vision, but not really knowing what could happen down the track. Just setting the main things that I want to achieve. And then month by month, as I get up to them, I organize the month more thoroughly than before. And then when the start of the week comes, I organize it on the Sunday night and I plan my week. And the day before the day, I plan the day. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I've worked it out so that, yes, planning the year takes a little bit of time, and I coordinate it with my partner as well. But it's those smaller ones, like you plan your week. Well, this is what's happening this week, so you can let everyone know and you feel certainty within yourself. And to go off and you can finish the week, I plan the day before because then my day has purpose and I can go about my day following a structure and just breeze through it. If you want to be able to deal with more uncertainty in your life and take more risks, you need to have pillars of certainty within your life already established. And I'm talking like schedules and meetings already booked in. Makes you feel more certain. Health and well-being routines that are regular and always consistent, that helps you feel more certain. If you have your meals for the week planned or your clothes for the week planned, makes you feel more certain. Therefore, you can take more risks outside of those things. Now, most importantly, with all of the goals that we set out to achieve, we have to review and reassess them as we go. What you go off and you write in your New Year's resolutions or your goals for the year, 90-day goals, we set off to achieve them, and some of us achieve them, some of us don't. The ones that achieved their goals straight off the mark, well done, good on you. There's a lot of us that don't, and that's because we don't accept that a goal can change along the way. And some people, and especially I find this with health and fitness goals, it's like, I want to lose 10 kilos. Well, you're on the journey of losing these kilos, and then you go off on a tangent, you have a really big feast one day, and so that you're 1 kilo behind, you have to review and reassess. Or if it gets to that big feast that you're having, and you review and reassess in the way that, okay, I'm going to have this much on my plate and this is what's going to be on my plate. Or you review and reassess and be like, I'm just going to enjoy this. I'm actually going to deliberately and intentionally enjoy this feast. And then I'm going to be 1 kilo behind. That's fine. I'm going to lose 9 kilos instead of 10. There needs to be acceptance and understanding with every goal that you go off to go and achieve, and accept that life is happening at the same time. My biggest advice when achieving goals is don't miss out on life. Because in my case, personally, if I was to get so absorbed in all of my goals, I would be working around the clock to achieve them in a shorter amount of time. However, I have my children at home. What purpose would it have served to work that tirelessly on my goals when what was most important is always been with me this whole time? That's why it's so important to understand the difference between means goals and end goals. End goals, you can actually, like, they're emotional states almost. You can tap into happiness at any moment in time. You just can't tap into a new Mercedes-Benz. So you got to toss up there. If you're single and you're young and you don't have family or commitments, put it all in. Give as much as you possibly can. But if you're older and you've got kids, or you've slowed down and you have other commitments, review and reassess as you're going with this goal that you're trying to achieve. If it's taking away from other aspects of your life and you don't enjoy it, review and reassess the goal. It's okay to change your benchmarks, or it's okay to, not your benchmarks, it's okay to change your milestones if needs be. And accept and understand that that is what you need as a human being. Hold yourself accountable at all time. It's not saying to let yourself off the hook, but go and align yourself with what matters most, though. So in saying that, there is no failure and only feedback in life. As long as you take steps forward, you are achieving, you are accomplishing and completing something true and important to you. Failure only happens when you do nothing at all and you take no action and you take no steps closer to your goal. If you take those steps and you stumble and you fall, it's okay. This is merely feedback in the whole scheme of things. Because children, and I've watched both my sons learn to crawl. They don't stop trying. I remember watching my oldest son Damien learn to walk. He kept falling over. You'd see him land on his bum, or it wouldn't quite work, or he'd crawl. But he kept going. It's something that we can learn. They tirelessly work towards their goal. And that's something that we can learn too. There is no failure and falling over. It is merely feedback that you needed to balance things out a little better. So I keep this piece of advice in the back of my mind every time that I go to face a scary goal. Especially in business, you've got to deal with rejection a lot. And that was petrifying. But if I don't face that now, it'll cause detriment years down the track when I still haven't faced it. So I faced the fear of failure. I got up in front of crowds. I've made cold calls. I've done all that kind of stuff. The only thing that comes from it is not failure, and I can tell you that now. It's purely feedback. Just telling you how to tweak things to make them better, to get a better outcome. And if that's not what you're getting from this feedback, then maybe your goal isn't right for you. A goal should not stress you out to the point of not wanting to go back to it. It's supposed to challenge you and make you feel empowered for having achieved it. Always remember that there is no failure with anything that you go off to achieve. It is only feedback, and that you can achieve anything that you set your mind out to do. There's I can't remember his name. It was the guy that ran the 4 miles. My business coach, Menno, tells me this all the time. He always brings up because before this guy ran a mile in 4 minutes, no one else could. But as soon as he did, then everyone was smashing it. It's just because if we don't believe it, it can't happen. Once we believe something, we can achieve it. It's the first step. Roosevelt said that. Believing it is the first step, and you're halfway there. So thank you very much for jumping on the call today, and thank you very much for being interested in your own goals. It's refreshing to meet and come across people that want to actively change their lives, and will set goals and will set benchmarks and achieve those things and go forward in life. Good luck to you in achieving everything that it is that you want to achieve. If there is anything that you need from the Motivation Club, please let me know. I am here for you throughout the journey. I hope you have enjoyed the 3 secrets behind creating the future that you desire. And I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback about your goals. Please send it through. The link to our Facebook group is below. The workbook for this workshop will be available in there. Okay, so thanks again. Thank you very much, and you have a great night. Okay, bye.